Well, welcome back to Andersen Acres. There's beautiful Lily, just chowing down, munching around, wondering when I'm going to let her out. I will do that this afternoon. In the meantime, there's Arwen. In the meantime, I thought I would wrap up my series on making money with your chickens by just telling you that everything I've told you is not enough, actually. Okay? That was Buddy. Buddy's making noise. But everything I've told you, go over here and find some chickens. Everything I've told you is not quite enough. Yes, you can sell your eggs. You can sell your hatching eggs. You can sell feathers. Maybe you've even decided you want to sell live birds. That's good. That's all well and good. But how are people supposed to know you exist? You can't just say, well, I'm going to sell these hatching eggs and expect people to show up at your door, because they're not going to. You have to get yourself out there. If you're going to try to make back some money for your chickens so you can invest in a playhouse, then really you need to make sure people know you exist. It's not that hard to have an idea, and it doesn't cost a lot to start selling eggs, chicks, feathers, or whatever, but you have to let people know you have a product you're trying to sell. You might want to make a website, make some business cards, use a really cheap site, or print them yourself, because you're not going to make a lot of money back on the money on the production materials that you purchase. So do it cheap if you can. Out here's some chickens. There's Buffman. We couldn't find him the other day when we were looking for cockerels. There's Buffman and Blackie, two of my young cockerels. And could we find them when we were trying to? No, but they're right here. Anyway, I'll go this way. So you want to let family and friends know what you're doing? Start a blog, or heck, a YouTube channel. How do you think some people find me in my area? Okay, they see my videos and they think, okay, maybe we should get eggs from her. I like the way her birds look. There's a cat. So if you want to be known in your community, you have to get out in your community. Volunteer to do demonstrations at a school or a community center, or a county fair maybe, depending on what you have going on in your area. Run a booth at a farm sale or an auction. Set something up. Contact your local paper to see if you can write articles about chickens and farming. That's a lot of fun. If you're in a farming community, that's also something that is quite appreciated a lot of the times. And it's good advertising for you. Just go see. Today is Loki's turn out. She's having a great old time. And Princess Orange loves Loki. Very, very much. So anyway, maybe even offer to educate people about chickens so they know how to look after them. Get out there, make sure people know you love your chickens. Make sure they understand that you absolutely adore your animals, that you look after them well. If you have free-ranging chickens, make sure people know you have free-ranging chickens. Right? If you have beautiful barns, take some photographs and share them. There's a lot of things you can do, but you have to get out there. People have to know you exist, and they have to, thank you, Shadowfax, they have to know you as a person before they'll buy stuff from you. It's kind of a weird kind of thing to get into, so it can be difficult to break in. So you want to make sure that you can get your name out there. If they don't know about you, they can't buy anything from you. And it's actually more difficult to let everyone know you have a product than to create the product itself. So it's not hard to get a bunch of chickens and get them to lay eggs for you. It is much, much harder to get people to know you're selling those eggs, right? It's hard to let people know that you do that. So maybe you have local classifieds, but really, knowing people's the way to go. Most of my egg customers are people who know me. People who knew I existed in the first place. So when I got into chickens, they were more than willing to buy my eggs. Then word of mouth. That's a beautiful leghorn, isn't it? She's still filling in. She's a rescue. She's looking much better. That's Ash. That's Orwin. She's a bad goat. She was eating chicken feed. Sabad horse. Thank you, buddy. I know you love the camera. But so get out there. Make sure people know you exist and that you have have a product and it's a good product and it's worth their effort and money to come and get it. If you don't do that, you're not going to sell anything because they won't even know that you're there. So think about how you can do that. Think about the best methods for you to get your name out there and get out in your community. That's really the thing. You can't sit at home and be behind your computer all day and expect to do a farm business. It doesn't really work. Even if it's not a full-fledged business, even if you're just trying to make a little bit of money to cover your costs, you're not going to be able to do that if nobody knows where you are. So that's about it for us today. We're going to come back tomorrow and start talking about quail, because I've had a few questions about quail, but I haven't actually showed them on a lot of videos. I mean, yeah, we walk past them and sometimes you see them bouncing around, but I do not talk a lot about them. So we're going to start talking about quail tomorrow. Talk about some of the pros and cons and how to house them, how to look after them. Maybe a few videos about the different quail colors, because quail colors are fascinating. Yes, buddy. You're a nice chicken. So that's about it for That's about it for us today. And we hope to see you tomorrow.